That message was a brutal wake-up call from my own unconscious, whispering loudly that no relationship could survive on half-truths and hidden selves. Carl Jung once warned us clearly, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. It turns out, relationships aren't just about finding someone who loves you. They're about confronting the hidden sides of yourself you've spent your whole life running from. And today, together, we're diving deep into those shadows to understand what our unconscious minds have been desperately trying to show us all along. The ever-evolving landscape of love. We swipe right on faces, not souls. We ghost instead of saying goodbye. We move into apartments before we even define what we are. Modern romance is fast, messy, and full of contradictions. Connection has never been easier, yet loneliness has never felt deeper. Technology promised endless choices, but instead delivered endless confusion. Yet beneath all this chaos, one thing remains clear. We still desperately crave real connection. Carl Jung understood something crucial about us, not how we date, but why we love the way we do. Jung wasn't teaching relationship hacks or quick fixes. He was peering deeply into the human soul, exploring unconscious forces and hidden truths. And today, those insights are exactly what we need if we hope to untangle the messiness of modern romance. Every time you swipe, you're not just matching with a person. You're connecting with your unconscious expectations. The archetypes Jung identified, the universal symbols embedded deep within our psyche, are quietly guiding your every choice. That mysterious pull towards someone isn't random. It's the unconscious recognizing itself in another soul. The anima, your inner feminine. The animus, your inner masculine. These invisible guides shape your desires, igniting sparks and fueling fantasies. But archetypes have shadows too, hidden parts we'd rather not see. When relationships unravel into jealousy, fear, or control, that's the shadow surfacing, the parts of ourselves we've buried deep, clawing their way back into the light. We accuse our partners of triggering us, forgetting it's our buried wounds crying out. Every argument becomes a mirror, reflecting parts of ourselves we'd prefer stayed hidden. Real love requires courage, the courage to stop running from shadows and instead turn towards them. Because shadows thrive in secrecy, they lose their power once acknowledged. Jung believed true connection isn't found in avoiding the darkness, but in bravely stepping into it. Facing the parts of you that feel unlovable is precisely what frees you to genuinely love someone else. This journey of self-awareness and self-acceptance is what Jung called individuation, the process of becoming your whole, authentic self. Individuation is about breaking patterns, not repeating them. It's about recognizing that the unhealthy relationships you keep finding yourself in aren't fate. They're lessons you haven't yet learned. The reason you keep attracting emotionally unavailable partners isn't bad luck. It's your unconscious gently nudging you towards the parts of yourself you still deny. Patterns repeat until you pay attention. Love transforms from a battlefield into a mirror the moment you accept that your partner's behavior often reveals more about you than it does about them. So, rather than scrolling endlessly for a perfect match, pause to reflect on your own hidden motives. What unmet needs are you projecting onto others? What fears silently drive your choices? By answering these questions honestly, you reclaim your power from unconscious impulses. You become a conscious creator of your relationships, not just a passive participant. And perhaps this deeper journey into Jungian psychology is exactly the kind of modern dating advice we need. Because beneath every swipe, text, and late-night phone call, there's always one soul reaching out to another, hoping to be truly seen. Your shadows hold the keys to connection, authenticity, and intimacy. Love today might be messy and complicated, but within that chaos lies a beautiful invitation, an invitation to stop chasing perfection and start embracing wholeness. The connections you truly crave won't come from perfect profiles, but from authentically facing yourself. Jung would tell you, your shadow isn't your enemy, it's your greatest teacher, leading you home to genuine, fulfilling love. Jungian concepts. Unveiling the archetypes of love. Archetypes quietly shape our lives more than we realize, especially in the tangled world of love. They're not random ideas, but deep-seated patterns, quietly whispering beneath the surface of every interaction. You've felt it, haven't you? That strange, magnetic pull towards someone you've just met, yet feel you've known forever. That isn't luck or destiny. It's your unconscious recognizing itself in another. Carl Jung understood these archetypes as powerful inner templates, universal symbols hidden deep in our collective minds, guiding our emotions and relationships without our conscious awareness. Two of the most influential are the Anima and Animus, the hidden feminine within men, and the concealed masculine within women. They embody our unconscious ideals, silently shaping who we desire and why we chase them. Think about your strongest attractions, those encounters that left you breathless. Often, they aren't really about the person standing in front of you. Instead, they reflect something buried deep inside yourself, qualities your unconscious desperately wants you to see and embrace. When you're drawn towards someone nurturing and gentle, perhaps it's your inner anima calling out for acknowledgement. Or maybe you constantly chase ambitious, driven partners, your animus urging you to awaken that strength within yourself. But Jung's archetypes go beyond just attraction. They seep into the roles we play. Take the hero archetype, that deep desire to rescue, protect, and fix. Ever felt compelled to save a partner from their struggles, convinced that love alone can redeem their past? That's your inner hero, pushing you into the savior role, hoping to heal your own hidden wounds by fixing another's. Similarly, the wise old man archetype surfaces as the mentor or guide, someone drawn to partners who need constant advice, guidance, or nurturing. It's not just about romance, it's about seeking validation, finding purpose by illuminating someone else's path. These patterns ripple through our lives, showing up in fairy tales, romantic movies, and everyday love stories because they resonate deeply with our unconscious desires. Even the classic bad boy attraction has roots in archetypal psychology. Why do we chase the emotionally unavailable partner, the one who seems exciting, unpredictable, and even dangerous? It's because they embody our shadow archetype, the hidden, repressed aspects of ourselves we're afraid to confront directly. We project those secret parts onto others, mistakenly believing we can tame them externally, rather than integrating them internally. Awareness is key. Without understanding these archetypal patterns, you'll keep replaying the same love stories, mistaking unconscious impulses for fate. But when you recognize your archetypes, you regain power over your choices. You can finally stop chasing shadows and start healing them. Your archetypes aren't villains, they're messengers, pointing directly at the parts of you longing to be seen. The relationships you attract are simply mirrors, reflecting these unconscious aspects. Love transforms profoundly once you realize this truth. Attraction shifts from unconscious compulsion to conscious connection, from desperate seeking to meaningful understanding. Ultimately, Jung invites us to a deeper romance, not just with another person, but with ourselves. It's a journey inward, discovering and embracing every hidden part of you, the gentle feminine, the powerful masculine, the hero, the mentor, and even your shadowy impulses. When you finally meet yourself fully, love becomes less about finding someone else and more about truly discovering yourself through them. The shadow in partnership, embracing the dark side. We all carry secrets, not the ones whispered in ears or hidden in diaries, but deeper secrets we hide even from ourselves. Carl Jung called these hidden truths the shadow, those quiet, uneasy parts of ourselves that we'd rather ignore or deny entirely. It's the temper you suppress, the jealousy you dismiss, the fears you bury beneath a calm exterior. But shadows don't vanish. They wait, quietly simmering beneath the surface until something stirs them awake. Think about that moment you snapped over something trivial, like dirty dishes left on the counter. On the surface, it seems absurd, but dig deeper, and you'll find old wounds, unresolved hurts, fears that whisper you're unseen, unheard, unvalued. When we explode, it's rarely about dishes or forgotten anniversaries. It's about an unconscious pain demanding attention, a shadow we've refused to acknowledge. Relationships have an uncanny way of shining a bright, unforgiving spotlight onto our hidden shadows. It's tempting to blame our partners for the frustration, the anger, the resentment that surfaces. Yet beneath every accusation lies a subtle truth. What irritates us most in others often mirrors what we deny within ourselves. Jung knew that projection isn't just psychological jargon. It's an emotional mirror, reflecting the parts of us we don't dare face directly. Real transformation begins the moment you pause in the heat of an argument and ask yourself, honestly, what's truly hurting me here? Because your partner's actions didn't create your insecurity. They simply brought it into sharp relief. The shadows you encounter aren't threats, they're invitations. Invitations to step bravely into awareness and compassion, toward healing rather than blame. The power of acknowledging your shadow lies in ownership. Instead of saying, "You make me feel unwanted," you say, "I'm realizing I carry a deep fear of being unloved." It shifts your relationship dramatically, because ownership brings clarity. Clarity brings empathy. Empathy invites true intimacy. Imagine a relationship where both people openly admit their fears, their wounds, their hidden insecurities, without judgment or defensiveness. But how do we do this practically? Start by paying attention. Notice your triggers. When your pulse quickens and your words sharpen, slow down and reflect. Don't run from discomfort. Sit with it. Ask gently, what deeper truth is surfacing here? Journaling helps. Honest conversations help even more. And therapy? It's not a sign of weakness. It's a courageous leap towards emotional freedom. Shadow work isn't about perfection. It's about authenticity. It's embracing the messy truth that we're beautifully flawed, profoundly human, and capable of deep growth. Relationships aren't meant to be safe havens from conflict. They're meant to challenge us, to reveal us, to lead us back to ourselves. The shadow isn't your enemy. It's your greatest guide towards self-awareness and real intimacy. Ultimately, embracing the shadow isn't just about saving your relationship. It's about freeing yourself from cycles of misunderstanding and pain. Jung believed the unconscious will direct our lives until we confront it. Choosing to face your shadow consciously transforms love from a battlefield into a sanctuary. It allows vulnerability instead of defensiveness, acceptance instead of fear, understanding instead of blame. Love isn't easier when you face your shadow, but it is deeper, truer, more fulfilling. When both partners bravely commit to this journey, relationships move from merely surviving to profoundly thriving. Because in the end, love isn't about two perfect people. It's about two conscious, courageous souls embracing their shadows and discovering that the path through darkness leads directly into the light. Individuation and relationship growth, a journey of self-discovery. Real love isn't meant to erase who you are. It's meant to reveal it. Yet, how often do we quietly abandon ourselves to keep someone else comfortable? We bend our edges, hide our truths, and soften our voices, convinced that harmony demands compromise, even at the expense of our authenticity. But Carl Jung believed something radically different. True intimacy thrives not on sacrifice, but on individuation, the courageous journey toward becoming fully and unapologetically yourself. Individuation isn't simply self-improvement or becoming better. It's about integrating every piece of who you are, both the admirable parts and those shadowy fragments you're tempted to deny. Jung insisted that genuine wholeness emerges not by rejecting our flaws, but by accepting them, illuminating the shadows we'd rather hide. Relationships aren't an exception to this journey. They're often the very catalysts that spark it. It can feel incredibly vulnerable, maybe even terrifying, to stand openly in front of someone else with all your complexities and contradictions laid bare. Society teaches us to project perfection, perfectly happy, perfectly balanced, perfectly lovable. Yet beneath this polished surface lies the aching truth that real connection grows from raw honesty, from openly owning your needs, your fears, your dreams, without apology or hesitation. Imagine how relationships would shift if we openly asked ourselves, am I showing up as my true self, or as a carefully edited version of who I think they want me to be? Instead of quietly suppressing frustrations, clearly communicate your boundaries. Instead of silently swallowing your dreams to match your partner's pace, confidently claim your ambitions. Authenticity, not conformity, fuels lasting connections. Individuation demands bravery, facing your fears about rejection or conflict head on. But here's the secret. Relationships don't crumble because partners are authentic. They collapse because partners lose themselves. When you abandon your own truth to keep the peace, you create a distance, not just between you and your partner, but within your own soul. Real intimacy emerges when two people, individually whole, choose to walk together, side by side, not one person dragging the other along. It's about respecting your partner's journey as much as your own, knowing their path isn't yours to control or define. Jung described individuation as this delicate dance of autonomy and connection, maintaining your identity while embracing another's. Every time you choose authenticity, you invite your partner to do the same. Every genuine conversation, every brave confession of your true feelings, every boundary lovingly set, builds trust and intimacy. These aren't small acts. They're revolutionary steps toward deeper connection and mutual growth. Reflect quietly for a moment. What parts of yourself have you been hiding to keep harmony intact? What needs remain unspoken for fear of disrupting the peace? Individuation gently challenges you to bring these truths forward, not as threats, but as powerful invitations to love more deeply and genuinely. Your partner isn't looking for perfection. They're craving realness, even if they don't yet realize it. Jungian psychology teaches that embracing both shadow and light within ourselves transforms relationships from fragile compromises into resilient partnerships, capable of weathering any storm. Love doesn't flourish when we sacrifice who we are. It blooms when we fiercely embrace authenticity. Individuation asks us to step forward, whole and unapologetic, ready not just to love someone else fully, but finally, to love ourselves. Beyond the archetypes, finding meaning in modern love. We've talked about archetypes and shadows, about individuation and deep self-awareness. But how does all this psychology actually translate into the messiness of everyday relationships? Because let's face it, understanding theories is one thing. Living them is something else entirely. Yet it's exactly in the daily grind, in the quiet struggles and subtle joys of love, where Carl Jung's insights come alive most vividly. Start by quietly stepping back and becoming the observer of your own heart. When attraction sparks, pause for a moment, not with skepticism, but gentle curiosity. Attraction is rarely just about the other person. More often, it's your unconscious projecting inner ideals, unmet desires, or hidden wounds outward. You aren't simply drawn to their charm or confidence. You're responding to parts of yourself you might not fully understand yet. Jung taught that real connection begins with self-awareness, with knowing what emotional patterns silently guide your romantic choices. Once you see these patterns, turn your gaze inward toward your shadow, that part of you quietly hiding beneath layers of politeness, fear, and denial. When irritation flares or jealousy twists inside you, don't push these emotions away. Welcome them gently as clues leading toward deeper self-understanding. Every reaction you have is a breadcrumb trail pointing back to unhealed wounds or buried fears that crave your attention. Journal about them honestly, reflect on them openly, and when needed, talk to someone skilled in guiding shadow work. Jung insisted, until you integrate your shadow, it will unconsciously drive every relationship, shaping conflicts you never intended. Relationships are mirrors, but remember, mirrors reflect change. Stay curious about your partner as you both evolve. Resist the temptation to box them into old stories or familiar roles. The person you fell in love with isn't static, but constantly growing, shifting, discovering. Allow space for transformation, recognizing that your partner's evolution invites you to continually rediscover who you both are and who you can become together. Real intimacy thrives not on certainty, but on continuous curiosity and openness. Ultimately, love is meant to be transformative, not a tool for validation or proof of worth. You don't need a perfect partner. Perfection is a myth designed to keep you chasing shadows instead of facing them. What truly sustains love is consciousness, your willingness to show up authentically, vulnerably, and fully. Love should challenge you to confront your limitations, to heal old wounds, to become more fully yourself. Jung believed relationships offer our greatest opportunity for individuation, not by validating illusions, but by compassionately revealing our deeper truths. Imagine relationships built not on pretending to be perfect, but on mutual honesty, courageous authenticity, and compassionate awareness. Picture partnerships where shadow and light coexist openly. Two imperfect people consciously choosing growth over comfort, reality over fantasy, true intimacy over surface connection. This is the kind of love that can weather any storm, transforming your life from within. You don't just deserve this kind of love, you're already capable of creating it. Every interaction, every argument, every moment of tenderness is an invitation, an opportunity to practice consciousness, self-awareness, and emotional courage. Love, seen through the lens of Jungian psychology, isn't a mere romantic ideal. It's the most powerful tool we have for meaningful self-transformation. Because the goal isn't just to find someone who completes you, it's to become fully, bravely, beautifully yourself, side by side with someone willing to do the same. If this resonated deeply, don't rush off into distraction. Pause, breathe, and reflect quietly on what surfaced. Every moment of clarity, every shadow confronted, every archetype understood, is another step toward becoming your true, whole self. Carl Jung knew this journey was never about simply finding love. It was always about rediscovering yourself through someone who sees every hidden part of you and stays anyway. So commit to this brave journey today. Explore your unconscious patterns, gently face your shadows, and dare to embrace genuine authenticity. Because the love you've been seeking all along is waiting patiently inside you. Tell me in the comments, what's one relationship pattern you're finally ready to break? Now click on the video suggested here. It's chosen to guide you further on this powerful journey of transformation. Thanks for being part of Mosaic Mind.